Hello, 7th graders. It's Miss Moore here to help you today. I would recommend that you press pause or fast forward when you need help on a question that looks familiar from this video during your IXL practice today. Okay, just a couple of reminders. The radius is half of the diameter, and the diameter is twice the radius. So if you get a question about the relationship between the radius and the diameter, we know that the radius here is saying it's 2 feet, and they're asking us for the entire diameter. The diameter goes all the way across. The diameter is twice the radius. So here we've got 2 times 2, which means in this case the diameter is 4 feet. In this question, they're asking us to find the circumference, and they give us that the radius is 2. Now, the circumference formula is pi times the diameter, so that means I need to double the radius in order to get the diameter. And they're asking me to use 3.14 for pi. That means when I use my calculations, I will use the number 3.14 instead of the pi button on my calculator. So I will type in 3.14 times 4, because the diameter all the way across the circle is 4, and I'll get my calculation of 12.56 centimeters. Here they're telling us the radius is 3, and they want us to find the area. The area formula, if you remember, is pi r squared. So I'm going to take that radius and square it, and in this case, I'm going to multiply it by 3.14. 3 squared, if you remember, is 3 times 3, not 3 times 2. So you get the area in your calculator of 28.26. Now here they're telling us the diameter is 6, and they're asking us to find the circle, the area for the circle. Similar question from last time, they're giving you the diameter, which is going all the way across, which means the radius is 3. So I'll use the same formula, same calculations, and I will get 28.26. Here, they're asking me to do something a little bit different. So you'll notice the questions range from fairly basic applications to pretty deep. This one's giving you the circumference and asking you to work backwards to find the diameter. They tell me that the circumference is 6.28. Now I'm remembering my circumference formula is pi times diameter. So I'm going to actually set it up this way. 6.28 is the circumference, and that's 3.14 times the diameter. For the questions on IXL, they're having you use 3.14 for pi. Because I want to undo the multiplication here, I'm going to divide both sides by the number that's with the variable that I'm trying to solve for. These are my algebra skills coming out. So I'm going to divide both sides by 3.14. Doing that will allow me to undo the multiplication here. So in my calculator, I would type in 6.28 divided by 3.14. That's going to get me the circle's diameter, which is 2. Now they're giving me the circumference again, 12.56, but this time they're asking me to find the radius. Still using the same formula, circumference equals pi times diameter, and the same set of skills I just used. 12.56 is pi times diameter, and in this case, we're using 3.14 for pi. So I'm going to end up dividing both sides by 3.14. So in the calculator, 12.56 divided by 3.14 gets me a diameter of 4. But because they're asking me to find the radius, I have to undo that as well. If the diameter all the way across is 4, halfway across means the radius is 2. We'll start to take pictures away from the IXL assignment as you get into the higher levels, but it's still the same concept. Here they're asking us to undo the area because they give you the area of 50.24, and they're telling you to find the radius. You're going to undo the area formula like you undid the circumference formula. Here we know that the area is 50.24, and that's 3.14 times the radius squared. I'm going to undo this 3.14. My first step will be to undo the multiplication of 3.14 by dividing by 3.14. So in your calculator, you would type in 50.24 divided by 3.14. Doing so will allow me to get an answer of 16. 16 happens to be the radius squared. If you remember, squaring something means taking a number and multiplying it by itself. So now I'm asking myself, what number times itself is 16? So in my head, I'm kind of checking a couple of numbers that I know, and I happen to know that 4 times 4 is 16, which means the radius is 4, since 4 times 4 is 16. One of the hardest questions on the IXL assignment that you will come across, you have to undo an area or a circumference and then reapply it to either the area or the circumference. For example, here, they're giving you that the area is 12.56, so they want you to undo it and then use that result to find the circle's circumference. This question's a little bit lengthy, so hang tight here. The area formula, if you remember, is 3.14 times the radius squared, or pi r squared. Because they told me that the area was 12.56, I will set that equal to the 3.14 times the radius squared. I'll grab my calculator and undo this multiplication of 3.14 by dividing 12.56 by 3.14. I will get a result of 4. Then I will ask myself, what number times itself is 4? That happens to be 2. So 2 is the radius. Now I want to be done here, but they're asking me to find the circle's circumference. I found the radius is 2. In order to figure out what the circumference is, I need the diameter. The diameter happens to be 4, since 2 plus 2 is 4, or doubling the radius also gets me 4. The circumference formula is pi times diameter, and then I'll take my calculator and multiply 3.14 times 4 to finally get the circumference of 12.56. Now this is one of the higher level questions that you will come across. If you have any questions as you're working, please make sure you ask your teacher in class or review the questions in this video again. Good luck!